is reading in Chinese.
咁啊，呢啲就可能咧網上好似有天使嚟宣告一啲嘢咧。
You just get the flow going. Okay, here we go. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 8. By faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to the place which he had would receive as inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going.
亞伯拉罕因着信，蒙召的時候就遵命出去，往將要得為業的地方去。出去的時候，還不知往哪裏去。
You need to understand, first of all, based on what I told you, God called Abraham to greatness.
我頭先有講到啦，當神去叫亞伯拉罕嘅時候咧，其實係一個好偉大嘅，係一個偉大嘅呼召。
You see, Abraham could not see what was ahead.
你都睇得到啦，跟住經文咧，其實亞伯拉罕都唔知道佢將來。
Like you and me, we cannot see the end of the tunnel, so to speak, when God calls you to do something.
好似我哋隧道一樣，我哋睇唔到，我未必即刻睇到個盡頭。
15 years down the road, here we are, full house, people being saved by God's grace.
你又會估得到，ICA 會行10年內。
But when God called us to do this, we were just wondering, God, how that will be like.
但當神呼召我哋嘅時候，我哋就係要相信之後會點樣咧？
A fellowship with a proposal that will be multi-language, multicultural, and everything in between.
ICA 亦都變成為一個國際化嘅一個教會啦。
But God's calling cannot be misunderstood, because when God calls, He calls. You need to obey.
因為當神佢呼召嘅時候咧，我哋必須要服。
One thing from the very beginning, I knew God was calling to greatness.
因為我好相信，當神佢呼召嘅時候係一個好偉大嘅呼召。
And for these 15 years, God has been faithful, as He always is, to those who follow Him.
而喺呢15年咧，我亦都見證咗神嘅信實。
So now I have another passage of scriptures, and that is in Genesis chapter 5, Genesis 15.
係啦，咁我哋一齊睇呢個創世紀15章
verses 5 and 6. This is when God explained to Abraham what was going to take place.
咁呢個就係神對亞伯拉罕講將會發生嘅事情。
Because you need to understand what God did with Abraham. Abraham was living his life, and God said, "Come on, guys, okay, I'll get everything together. I'm going to send you to another place."
如果你理解經文咧，就係亞伯拉罕其實都係自己活着佢，即係佢一個生活啦。跟住神咧就係呼召佢，你要執行你咧，就要去一個你唔熟悉嘅地方。
Well, it's so romantic. It's so nice when you read it.
係啦，你聽到你會覺得哇，好浪漫。
But remember, or try to imagine if God come to you today and say, "Okay, get your things up. I'm going to send you to a place you do not know."
但係你試想下，如果神今日嚟揾你，同你講你而家執行你去一個你唔知嘅地方。
Most likely, if you're like me, I would say, "Am I really hearing God?"
咁可能我哋嘅反應就話：係咪真唔真㗎？
Can you be more specific?
可唔可以俾多啲資料？
If you're like me, you would have a lot of excuses to say, maybe later, or maybe more explanations.
可能你會俾自己好多嘅理由，一啲嘅原因啦，唔去啦。
But Abraham had the same questions in his heart.
咁可能亞伯拉罕亦都有呢啲咁嘅問題啦。
So for those of you young people, remember this: when God calls you, He calls you to greatness.
年輕人，你大家都要知道，當神去呼召你咧，你要
For those
明白係一個偉大嘅呼召。
For those of us more experienced in life, not to say older, when God calls you, He calls you to greatness.
即使我哋比較可能有經驗啲嘅人咧，當神叫你咧係一個偉大嘅呼召嚟。
God does not go for less.
神唔會細細力咁樣去行。
When you step on God's will for your life, you are heading to greatness in your life.
當神去呼召你嘅時候咧，係一個好偉大嘅呼召嚟。
I've been a minister for more than 40 years.
係啦，咁我喺 服侍咧係已經做咗40年。
And what does it mean?
代表咗乜嘢？
Well, when I was in the prime of my life, in the prime of my career, going hard to get whatever young people want to get, God called me to come to the missionary field.
當我去到其實我自己當時好輝煌嘅年紀嘅時候咧，神喺當時個年紀就呼召我去傳道。
Well, I'm glad God placed by my side a wife who understood God's calling as well.
係啦，咁亦都